one of the smartest things Eddie said in that documentary, and I don't know how many people caught it, but I hope millions of people hear this, is Eddie talked about the other comedians and celebrities he saw that went down along the way. Does anybody remember that? He talked about going into a room with John Belushi, who's dead, and Robin Williams, who's dead, and having them put a bunch of coke on the table, and they're like, "Hey, you want to try this?" And Eddie was like, "Nah, I'm not interested." And if you listen carefully to Eddie speak from his, 100,000 square foot house, whatever that big mansion is, right? If you hear him speak, he spoke about the fact that he saw other individuals go down because of these addictions, and he saw those as cautionary tales. Rick James, he hung out with Rick James, for God's sake, right? And but if you also go further back into Eddie's background, how was Eddie raised? Does anybody remember that? Tell me about his household. His biological father wasn't there, but he had a disciplined stepfather. That was the key. He had a disciplined stepfather who probably warned and prepared him of these things before he got in the middle of all the chaos. Well, I related to that very closely. I related to that because I had my biological father was on drugs and he wasn't around much. I didn't know the guy. I had a stepfather who also was on drugs, but he kicked the habit. He walked away from the drugs, and he would always point out cautionary tales. He would always point out all these other black men who got carried away with drugs or alcohol, and we would look at consequences. And the best gift he ever gave me was he somehow convinced me as a kid, you never want to drink, you never want to use dope. And Eddie, to this day, he doesn't drink, he doesn't use dope. That probably reduces his problems by about 80%. Do you understand? So if I could really convince millions of black men to stay away from alcohol and drugs, you're talking about probably a $10 trillion generational wealth transfer to the black community. And I'm not playing when I say this. $10 trillion. Do you understand how much wealth and happiness has been lost because a man could not walk away from drugs or alcohol? Have you seen how many families have been destroyed? How much trauma has been created? How much wealth has just been thrown out the window? How many opportunities are wasted? Do you understand that? Like, do you see the connection? I really want to. I get real tense when I'm like, can you see this? Look around. Look at what drugs have done to the black community. Look at how many people are in so much pain that they can't get up and go to work. They can't go out and start a business. They can't make an investment. They can't go make good decisions. They can't maintain relationships. They can't stay married. And a lot of it starts foundationally from having to like grow up in a house with a drug addict. Or or the trauma that comes from that. That trauma affects you into adulthood. It affects all your decisions.